Rob, good morning to you. I want to start off with the sad scenes that we saw yesterday of young people marching against the brutalizing of women by young men who are perpetrators in these cases mostly. How else do you drive the message to men in particular that they do not own women's bodies?
That's a good question, and I think there's work to be done with men as a whole in our country, where gender-based violence is so predominant. And I think particularly at this point in time, with lockdown, there's a real need to be able to share and disseminate information and influence men's behaviour. One way in which we have been doing this is through our partnership with the presidency, where we have been providing information to young people about how they can be busy, keep productive, be safe, and not just in the context of the coronavirus, but actually in the context of citizens and addressing these issues of gender-based violence.
Yeah. Let's get then to the business of young people being business leaders. The president's message yesterday to young people is that you must lead the way in rebuilding this economy post-COVID-19. My first question to you, Rob, is how do you build that confidence in young people that they must start thinking of themselves as employers as opposed to employees?
I mean, it's absolutely the right question and the right message. I think as much as we want young people and need young people to lead in this country, we've also got to make sure that we can provide them with the ability and the wherewithal to be able to do that. And so when we do start to say that we want young people to be business owners in the absence and be business income generators and start businesses, in the context of an economy that is going to be slow for a long time and isn't going to have enough jobs for young people, then we really need to be able to provide them with the wherewithal to do that, with access to information, skills, and knowledge about how they go about starting those businesses. And I think in conjunction with that, with the confidence to be able to do so. And so, although his message is right, I think there's work that we and I think that's both government and business and the private sector need to do in thinking about how we get that information into young people's hands, and how we send the message that those opportunities are viable and real opportunities.
Yeah, as a business accelerator, how are you helping young people? What role are you playing in this very space to try and help young people get into that drive of starting their own businesses?
We have a number of initiatives. So we have a very successful partnership with the Gauteng Provincial Government and their Set for 1 Million program. We have programs that we are running ourselves, working in communities with young people, providing them with these skills to be able to do that. And perhaps just by way of example, yesterday we spoke to one of the young people we've been engaging with, Promise, who went through a program and has started her own poultry business, serving her community. And there are countless other examples of young people who have been successful when they are given a hand up and not a hand out, where we've seen, for example, in Jabulo, in Volksrust, was able to use his Wi-Fi router and effectively set it up as a hotspot and sell access to Wi-Fi. Or we can think about Jonathan in Davidson, who pivoted his small business to use bicycles to deliver kota and bunny chows at level 3 lockdown, and then collect medicine from clinics for the elderly at a very low cost. So there are opportunities out there. Young people are creative, and as I said, I think they often just need a little bit of a hand up. rather than a handout.
Final question to you, Rob, and very briefly, if you can. COVID-19, some people are saying it's brought into sharp focus the extreme inequalities in our education system, particularly the public schooling environment. It's so weak that it's unlikely to produce business leaders of tomorrow that this economy so desperately needs. How then do you encourage that entrepreneurship that is needed, that the President is speaking about, when you have such poor outcomes from our education system?
I think addressing the education system is a challenge in itself, and one that's going to take a while to do. And so I don't think we can wait for the reform that we hope to see in education. And what that means is that we've got to go to where young people are, and where they are in terms of what their education looks like. And so the programs that we are advocating for young people are not these Dragon's Den sort of high entrepreneurial startups, but what are the opportunities that you can do to earn an income where you are, with the skills you have, and do so in a sustainable basis that provides you and puts food on your table. So I think it's about the nature of the solutions that we are delivering, and not trying to invest in 100,000 Rand per head entrepreneurial programs, which are needed for a section of the population. But actually, if we want to really work with youth coming out of those education systems, then we have to have solutions that address their challenges and the situations that they face.
Rob Urquhart, thank you very much for your time.